Nta Calabar for 2-day healing and deliverance crusade. Legal practitioner calls on Nigerian youths to shun violence and get involved in politics. Plus, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, commences continuous voter registration rotation. Details and more shortly. Good evening and welcome to the news. I am Justina Ethem. The senior pastor of Dunamis International Gospel Center, Dr. Paul Enenche, and his wife, Becky, have arrived Calabar for a 2-day miracle and deliverance crusade. On arrival at the Margaret Ekpo International Airport, he was received by the Speaker, Cross River State House of Assembly, Ethan Williams, the state pastor of Dunamis Gospel Center, Calabar, Samuel Adokba, and other members of the church.
The visitation of God to the people of Cross River State and to the state as a whole and to the whole of this region. We believe that it is Cross River State's turn. We have gone a bit around the country, and as we prayed and trusted God for the next assignment, He directed us to Cross River State, meaning that it is Cross River State's time for a visitation from God, for a healing of the land, for a deliverance of the land, and for the turnaround for individuals in the land.
Cross River State, God has decided it's time for your visitation. And in this program starting tonight, the power of God will be available, the help of God will be released, the anointing of God will be available, and God's servant and the team are ready for God to flow through for your help in Jesus' name. So
the power-packed event ongoing at the UJ Eswene Stadium is with high expectations of God's miraculous power and healing. Members of the public are enjoined to take part in the crusade in order to experience the blessings of God. Youths have been advised to shun violence and prepare themselves for leadership to make a difference in governance. This is the view of a legal practitioner, John Inaku, while reacting to the issue of frequent involvement of youths in violence and political thuggery in the country. Ibrahim Etom tells us more.
It is a common situation in Nigeria whenever crises occur or political violence is mentioned that the youths will largely be linked to such a bad practice. And this call for the youth to be reoriented so as to be supported to participate in governance, especially as the 2023 general elections draw near. The youths are therefore encouraged to take advantage of the not too young to run bill to seek elective positions, thereby ensuring good governance that will help the nation attain greatness.
To support youth for youth, we should support ourselves so that we can get to the ranks of leadership and also change the narrative in our country, because I believe that a better Nigeria is possible. I believe that it's our generation that will rescue Nigeria. So we cannot be carrying ballot boxes, but rather we should sit on the table of bargain, we should sit on the table to negotiate, we should sit on the table to, to discuss with our leaders on how they can translate power to young people so that we can also rule from where they have stopped and change the narrative and give Nigeria that future that we desire for ourselves and for our children.
Be wise, be smart. Don't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Call yourself to order. Go back to your reasoning table when it comes to getting involved in voting the right persons to power.
Others are of the view that it is only when united that the youths can take their rightful position in the society.
It is what you give yourself in for. That's what you are being used for. So I think we should say no to it. You understand? We should say no. Let's put that energy we have in supporting our fellow youth.
If we want to see a change, then we should stop what promoted these consequences we are facing. Consequences are not accidental. Consequences are natural rewards of action. So if you hate what you are seeing, do not just be angry with what you are seeing. Go back to change what precipitated what you are seeing.
Concerned youths advised other youths to shun violence and thuggery during elections for peace building in the country. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Cross River State, has commenced a continuous voters registration rotation, which kicked off officially nationwide on March 8, 2022, to allow more eligible citizens to have easy access to registration centers. The report is hereby presented from our studio.
A statement signed by the resident electoral commissioner, Cross River State, Cyril Omorogbe, announced the devolution of CVR to 193 wards in Cross River State. He said that this is in addition to the existing 18 local government area offices and the state head office centers, where physical registration is currently taking place, bringing the total number of registration centers in the state to 212. According to him, this exercise will be on rotational basis, and the timetable has been published in all local government area offices. He therefore called on cross-riverians that are 18 years and above that have not registered and others to do so. For those who pre-registered online must complete their registration physically within the given date to enable them vote in the 2023 general elections. Mr. Omorogbe advised eligible and registered voters to take advantage of the newly created polling units to transfer their voting points closer to their homes.
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission has presented a certificate of return to a member-elect Akpabuyo State constituency, Dr. Ekeng Efiobe, the winner of Saturday, February 26, 2022 by-election. The presentation was made by the resident electoral commissioner, Dr. Cyril Omorogbe, who advised the member-elect to be responsible and accountable to the people of Akpabuyo who gave him the mandate. In response, the member-elect Ekeng Edet applauds the leadership of the People's Democratic Party and his constituents for giving him the opportunity to serve the people of Akpabuyo. Meanwhile, the commission at INEC headquarters Abuja has presented certificate of return to the winner of the Goja Yala federal constituency by-election, Jude Ngaji. The Ebonyi State Governor, Chief David Umahi, has reinstated his confidence in the Nigerian judiciary, stressing that he never disparaged the system. The Ebonyi State Governor, David Umahi, has reinstated his confidence in the Nigerian judiciary, stressing that he never disparaged the system. Governor Umahi stated this while playing host to the Forum of Ebonyi Founding Fathers, led by former Governor Martin Elechi at his office in Abakaliki.
Following his sack from office by the Federal High Court Abuja for decamping from the People's Democratic Party PDP to All Progressives Congress APC, Chief Umahi has continued to receive solidarity from the people. Appreciating Ebonyi Founding Fathers who visited him for the same purpose, Umahi said that he was not perturbed for any reason. He, however, debunked the allegation that he was castigating the judiciary.
There is a judgment that is subsisting here in Ebonyi State that says I can't vacate my office. There is a new judgment that says I should vacate my office. Why I appeal that of the one that says I should vacate my office, I will obey the one that says I will not vacate my office. I still have confidence in the judiciary. And I'm happy that when I defected was the most trying period in Southeast. And I said, no, we need to move Southeast to the center and work with our brothers.
While assuring Chief Umahi of their unflinching support, the leader of the forum and immediate past governor of the state, Chief Martin Elechi, advised him to seek legal redress and continue to be law-abiding.
We are angry with the pronouncement, but we cannot translate our anger to violence. That would be unbecoming of democracy. So we've come to say we are with you. What happened to you happened to all of us. But let us show maturity and simply going on appeal.
In Abakaliki, Chika Okori, NTA News.
A quick break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the rest of the news. The Nigerian Navy recruitment examination is slated to hold on Saturday, 12th of March 2022 at 30 designated centers across the Federation. A statement signed by Rear Admiral Sanusi Ibrahim, but the Chief of Naval Staff, states that candidates shortlisted for the examination have been published at www.joinnigeriannavy.com. Candidates are to report by 7 o'clock in the morning at the examination centers as selected during the online registration. He reiterates that candidates will not be allowed to write the examination at any center other than that selected during the online registration. In line with the Chief of Staff commitment to provide accommodation for men of the Nigerian Army, a 30-flat apartment has been inaugurated at Camp Burutai, Yenagoa. Doris Akunwanye has details.
The one-day official visit of the Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, to the 16th Brigade Yenagoa was to interact with officers and men of the Nigerian Army, strategize and improve on operational tactics. The Army Chief, while inaugurating the 30-flat accommodation for junior officers, reiterated his resolve to provide more accommodation to enable them carry out their duties effectively. He commended the effort of the 16th Brigade Commander and officers for their doggedness in the fight against insecurity and sustaining the peace in the state.
30-man club for the benefit of our soldiers and humanity. God bless. All right.
Each army deployment is guided by operation orders and rules of engagement, and I urge them to maintain it and ensure that they deliver and check the activities of miscreants and saboteurs anywhere they find themselves, among other duties they are deployed to do.
Benefiting officers in the wards lauded the Army Chief for the gesture, which they say will boost their morale.
I am very much happy because my husband and I, we are one of the beneficiaries of this great building. He has done a great job. I just want God to protect him, guide him, and give him more strength to do more for us.
The Chief of the Army Staff was accompanied by the GOC 6th Division Port Harcourt, another top echelon of the military. In Yenagoa, Doris Akunwanye, NTA News.
Teachers in the employ of the Akwa Ibom State government are appreciative of the directive of the state governor that one-year leave grants be paid to them. The teachers say the gesture, though laudable, is not enough, adding that more is required. Susan Asukwo reports.
It is often said that teachers' reward is in heaven, but with the present economic reality in the country, everyone, including teachers, want immediate gratification or reward for their services or labor. This reality, of course, prompted the teachers to demand for payment of their leave grant and other allowances. To meet this demand, the State Executive Council directed that part of the arrears should be paid.
On the states of leave grants indebtedness to primary school teachers, and despite the consciousness that that is not the responsibility of the state government, compassionately the governor through the ESCO directed that 1 year of that leave grant be paid to primary school teachers immediately.
In an interaction with teachers on the directive of the state government, the gesture is appreciated, but more needs to be done.
The 1 year leave grant, though appreciated, is not acceptable. That the government should give at least 6 years leave grants to make it up with the local government. If the local governments are the one responsible for teachers, primary school teachers' salary.
While teachers expect a better and fruitful deal with the government, it will be recalled that the state governor, Udom Emmanuel, had in 2021 declared a state of emergency in the education sector to reposition the sector for good and for the benefit of Akwa Ibom children. This gesture of the provision of 1 year leave grants to teachers, therefore, is likely not unconnected with efforts to reposition the education sector by the Akwa Ibom state government. In Uyo, Susan Asukwa, NTA News.
The state government has been called upon to spearhead the immortalization of the first secretary of the Nigeria Football Association and Secretary General, Nigerian National Football Body, the late Etubom Orokoyo, or Rock, popularly known as Mr. Football. This call, the son of the deceased, Barrister Orokoyo, says becomes necessary since 14 years after the then Minister of Sports made the pronouncements for the immortalization of the deceased and nothing has been done. Aratunde reports.
The late Chief Orok Oyorok was a famous football administrator whose years in service of the nation brought glory to the state and the nation. However, since his demise in 2008, the then Minister of Sport, Abdul Rahman Gimba, had proposed that the late Etubom Oyo should be immortalized, but till now, that is yet to happen. In an exclusive interview, the son, Barrister Orok Oyo, in support of friends and associates, is planning to launch the Orok Oyo Foundation to mark his posthumous centenary birthday later this year.
The foundation we have established to immortalize him is known as Mr. Football Foundation. Some of the aims and objectives of that foundation is to promote football in Nigeria. 1. 2, to help the younger generation discover their talents and abilities early. 3, to publish the general educative and historical articles written by Mr. Football himself with a view to assisting today's coaches in identifying the common problems in football and how to tackle them.
Mr. Football, as the disease was fondly called, the son emphasized deserved to be immortalized as he was a very known influential football administrator internationally, and both CAF and FIFA confirmed on him the life honorary title.
The glory that will come from this immortalization does not belong to the man himself, Mr. Football, because he is dead. No, neither does it belong to us who are on our way out. It belongs to the living and Nigeria as a whole.
More than 70 years of his 86 years on earth was spent on football. His prowess as a footballer left his footprints in the sands of time. In Calabar, Arut Ndem, NTA News.
And for now, we have come to the end of the news. But before we go, a reminder of the top stories. The senior pastor of Dunamis Worship Center has arrived Calabar for a 2-day healing and deliverance crusade. Legal stakeholders have called on Nigerian youths to shun violence and embrace active involvement in politics to make a difference in governance. It was also in the news that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has commenced continuous voters registration while devolving 193 wards in Cross River State. That's all on the news. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful time.